And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. This is like a take two. The first take I just did, I don't know. Yeah, it was only like 5 seconds. But I just didn't like the way my sound waves were recording. I didn't feel like it was coming in good enough. Maybe I should finally invest and buy a microphone, which is only like $30 on Amazon. Maybe I should. I probably fucking won't because I can find other ways to spend money on things. I don't know, whatever. So this past weekend, I didn't have my kids, and then everything's still kind of, for the most part, closed. I did watch the UFC fight. That was a good time with some friends, so I really enjoyed that. But what I was doing most of the weekend was watching the Hunger Games. I don't know why. I just felt like fucking watching the movie, and then I seen like, oh shit, all four of these movies are on Hulu. I guess it was showing on a Freeform, and I paid for Hulu Live, so I was able to watch that with all the annoying ass the commercials during the time, which makes me think about too, like motherfuckers was closed and shit, and non-essential businesses were shut down and all that stuff. Yet, all these huge corporations had time to make these fucking commercials about COVID-19. I was like, it made me think, like, man, when the USA have time to make a commercial about COVID-19? Like, I thought everything was closed. That certain essential businesses were open and stuff. Yeah, USA the bank, but I guess does their marketing and advertising department go along with that too? Whatever, just a random thought. But as I'm watching Hunger Games, it makes me think about how it makes me think about power. And I remember having a conversation with my daughter. She wants to be like, one of her things that she wants to accomplish in life, where that she thinks about is being a president. And I told her, like, if you're a president, you gotta be able to make decisions like that could affect millions of people and kill people at some point in time. And I asked her, I was like, would you be okay with killing a small group of people in order to save the majority of them? She's like, yes. In my mind, I'm like, okay, that's a rational decision. But I was like, and I told her that too, but I was like, you gotta have some emotion. You gotta have some compassion and some empathy. Because how do you not care about killing this innocent person? Or I was like, presidents of the United States in recent years, decades or whatever, they've been dropping bombs, in the Middle East and stuff, in different areas around the world, and to kill high value targets or terrorist threats. I'm doing the air quotes. Y'all can't see that shit. Terrorist threats. But as I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her the explanation. I was like, when they drop these bombs and they kill these civilians, I was like, do you know? I was like, do you know that they kill these civilians? I was like, this is probably some little kid walking around that this is what they call collateral damage. And I was trying to explain that to her. Granted, my daughter's 11, so she's still kind of like, what the fuck? But it doesn't matter. I tell my kids all the time, like, you might not understand what I'm saying right now, but you'll remember this conversation. And at some point later on in your life, it'll click again and you'll be like, oh shit, that's what the fuck he was talking about. But I was explaining to her about collateral damage and what happens, and a lot of times that the media just doesn't report that when they dropped this bomb, it did kill a kid, and that's why you get a rise of terrorists or whatever. Once again, air quotes. You get a rise of people that want to fight back and stuff like that. I was like, would you be mad if someone killed me? She's like, yeah. You want to kill him, wouldn't you? She's like, yeah. Because something wrong with that girl. I don't know. She's a little, she's a little borderline psycho. But such a sweet girl and stuff. So she has emotion, she has compassion. But I tell my kids I want them to be better than me. I have emotion and I have compassion, but really only for the people I love and care about. And the people I care about, I can care about you, but at the same time, I can push you out of my bucket or my circle of people that I care about, and something happens to you, I don't really care anymore fucking more. People don't know that. Everyone thinks I'm a real nice person. I just say whatever. And yeah, I'm nice because I'm trying to be nice. Like I said before, I'm trying to be nice. So I'm explaining this all to her and stuff, and we're talking about this. And then she kind of starts to think a little bit more. I was like, yeah. I was like, you want to being in charge, being a leader means that you got to handle these tough choices and these situations. And if you can't think about one individual life, how can you value other lives, whatever? You got to value that one individual life. But, it kind of fucked with her head and stuff and everything. And I could tell it really made her think about it and stuff. But just that conversation and then watching the Hunger Games stuff, I was just thinking about power, and and I just just want to talk about like the what people do with power and how power is like a the worst thing, not the worst thing to have, but it's not a good thing to have. When I was her age, I didn't tell her this story, but when I was around her, or maybe I did. I probably didn't go into detail. When I was around her age, I remember I got real teenage angst. I was pissed off about everything. I feel like I probably am still pissed off about a lot of stuff. I just let it go a lot better now. But I was mad and shit about whatever. Kids get on my nerves at school, just random shit. I didn't like shit going on in the world. I was mad about racism or prejudice or any fucking thing. I was mad about stereotypes. I don't know. But I had this moment where I wanted to be a dictator. I was like, I remember you telling my parents, I want to be like Hitler. I'm going to be a fucking dictator. Of course, I didn't say fucking or whatever, but I want to be like a dictator or something. And I remember they just looked at me like, they're probably thinking like, this kid is fucking crazy. How the hell we know this crazy ass kid? We just better hope for the best for him. Yeah, as I'm thinking about my daughter, I was like, man, does this girl not have no emotional capacity? But it's the same thing. Like, I feel like it makes me think. I remember hearing, power corrupts absolutely, or whatever. So I looked up the quote and I had posted on my Instagram, and I'm gonna read the quote now. The quote is from John Dalberg Acton, which I guess was a lord or whatever within the British Times or British Times, sometime in England or some shit like that during the British Empire. I don't remember the whole history behind them because I didn't give a fuck when I read it. But here's a quote: "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost always bad men." And it makes me think about that. Because if I was in a position of power, like I said, when I was a kid, I thought about it. Even as recent as now, I think about maybe running for like city council or being a mayor or so. But I don't know because I don't trust myself with power. I would never trust myself with power. Because if I was sitting in the president's seat and I had the power to drop a bomb on someone, I would fucking do that shit probably a lot. I probably would. I probably would. I don't trust people in power, and no one should trust people in power. No one should trust anyone with power. Power needs to be completely balanced and distribute as much as possible. You know, I hear power to the people from like Black Panthers and stuff. But you really need the people to. You need the mass majority of people to have that power, and not power over governments. And then I might kind of bleed into talking about governments and stuff because, like I said, I don't like governments, but if there was to be a government, I think a one world government would make more sense than anything. And people might not agree with that. And people are like, oh man, because, NWO, New World Order, everybody's having an understanding that, yeah, they're trying to push us towards a one world government. But if you're going to have a government, the best way to do it in the most efficient way is to have just one government. If you're going to do it, then do it in the most efficient way, in the most efficient manner. And you can kind of see humanity probably will evolve to have that one world government, just so everybody sees themselves as some type of way, and then still everyone sovereign nations or something like that underneath it or whatever. But at the same time, really humanity needs to evolve where no one needs any governing body over them. They can make their own decisions based on, I don't know, their own fucking thoughts and minds. But who knows? It seems like humanity is taking a long fucking time to evolve. Or maybe we're de-evolving. I don't know. That's another topic, I guess. But absolute power corrupts. And it has to, because when you're given all that power, your ego inflates. And these past few years, I don't know if I said this in one of the podcasts, but when I looked into Buddhism and I looked into different things of that nature, and it's always talking about the ego and the ego. Like in Buddhism, it talks about the ego, you know, is one of the reasons why you suffer, because your ego thinks that you're not supposed to suffer, but suffering is part of life. Pain is a part of life. Accept the pain. Accept the suffering. I tell my kids like, yeah, go ahead and cry. Accept that, but cry over certain things that are a little bit more meaningful to you. You know, learn to control your emotions, but also understand that you have these emotions. And so that ego gets inflated when you have that power. And power, man, like, oh fuck. That's where you have a lot of like police brutality. You can talk about social injustice, you can talk about racism, prejudice, all this other stuff, but When you give a motherfucker power and you give them a weapon and then you tell them to go enforce that power because police officers are what? Enforcing policies. So there you go. Now they feel like, oh, I'm in charge of this and I'm supposed to, and I am the law because I'm wearing this badge. Motherfuckers is gonna eventually be corrupt. That's just what's gonna happen. It's always gonna be like that. I remember being in Afghanistan and I remember watching over the locals and stuff as they're working and stuff. And I just remember thinking that if one of these motherfuckers do anything, I'm supposed to, act on it or whatever. I might have to shoot one of these motherfuckers. And or when I'm doing security duty and stuff, and our guard duty at the gate or whatever and stuff, somebody's not listening to command and stuff. Yeah, I got to follow the certain Geneva Conventions, all the different laws, whatever. But I'm still gonna do what I need to do because I've been in been trained or I've been infused with this mentality to know that I have power over these people based on the certain rules, laws, or regulations, or Geneva Convention, or wherever the fuck is going on. But when you give someone that power, eventually it goes to their head. It goes to their ego. Because you have to live up to this power. And now you love this power. You're like, oh man, you mean I tell this person to do something and they go do it? Well, this just feels great. Because all of our lives we're under the assumption, actually not under the assumption, if someone doesn't know, the truth is, you don't have no fucking control over your life. So everything you do when you grow up, you're being controlled by your parents. You're being controlled by teachers at school. You're being controlled by, your coach in sports activity stuff. And then as you get older, you realize, oh shit, I still gotta be controlled by the people at work. I gotta be controlled by this. And you go start your business. You have your own business, stuff like that. You decide to be a business owner or something like that. Because my daughter talks about doing that. But she's still gonna be controlled by banks or people trying to, give her money and stuff. Hopefully, I set up myself where she ain't gotta worry about that, and then I can just give her the money. She don't even know that though. She needs to find her own way, far as she knows right now. But that's what I'm trying to do. But the whole thing is, our whole lives we're under the mindset that we are under control by someone else. Somebody always has some type of effect over our decisions and what we do, or what things with the different actions and steps we want to take in life. And power, once you get a taste of that and you realize, wait a minute, none of these motherfuckers tell me what to do. Wait, I'm telling everybody what to do? Oh, I say drop a bomb, they go literally drop a bomb. I say go shoot this person, they go do it. I said y'all need to shut down the businesses. Y'all shut down the businesses. You can fuck that, but you cannot give me no power like that. You cannot give me no power. I would flat out be a fucking dictator. And that's why I say I'm not a nice person. I'm not a nice person. I'm not a nice person. Like, if you gave me that power, I would flat out be a fucking dictator. Without question. It wouldn't even I would start out good. Give me a few years, I'll be a fucking dictator. And it makes me think when I was watching the Hunger Games and stuff, and like one of the main antagonists or whatever was President Snow, and it's like, how does a person like that rise to power? Everybody thinks, there's no way someone can see a tyrant coming. The same way as Hitler. You don't see the tyrant coming. He does certain things, does nice things, stuff, and the evil thing he does, you feel like he does it in part for you. And you get caught up in that. But you don't realize this motherfucker is running away with power and stuff. And then if you haven't seen the Hunger Games, I guess is your spoiler alert, which is stupid. I don't even know why I even bother saying that shit. Fuck that. Anyways. So during the Hunger Games stuff, towards the second and last film or whatever, then the other person, you can kind of tell the other person who's in charge of District 13, I forget what the lady's name was, the character's name was, but you kind of get a sense like, wait a minute, she's just also another person vying for power. Because, and it kind of makes you think about the reality as you're watching the Hunger Games, how real this is. Because when we vote for presidents and all this thing for all these different things and election stuff, you're always voting for the lesser of two evils, because the people that rise to power, once they get a taste of that power, they're gonna be corrupt. It makes you wonder, why do we have a president, but then we have all different branches of governments and we have balance of power. But someone that's a congressman can be in their position longer years, and then you have someone like a Dr. Fuki, whatever the fuck his name is. He's been in that position, whatever, for a long ass time. Over those years, a person develops power and they develop a taste for power. And then once you develop a taste for power, you will do your best to not let go of that power. If a billionaire wakes up today and realizes they don't have $1 billion anymore, they're gonna freak the fuck out because they're not trying. They can say they don't care about money anymore, but at the same time, they're not trying to lose their position and their comfortability level in life. Like if you're used to something, no one likes change, and you also don't like change that you perceive as negative. So if you're moving somewhere, you going something like that, you get a higher level job position, you get a bigger house, that's a positive change. But if you woke up and you realize you gotta live in a fucking smaller house, something you would perceive that as a negative change. That shit will fuck your head up. So same as the billionaire with all this power and this money and influence, take a Bill Gates. If he woke up today and he had the same power and influence, he'd probably fucking slit his wrist. And it seems like a dramatic, drastic thing to say, but that power that comes with it. Just think of you at your job, you become that supervisor, and you tell them, hey, all of a sudden you go from being yelled at for being late that you're telling people, hey, why are you being late? And they're looking at you like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, you feel like, yeah, that's right, bitch. You better be sorry. You better apologize to me. I fucking run this shit. I'm in charge of all this shit. That's right. I fucking own this or whatever. Like, power is a crazy fucking thing, man. United States feels like they have power. And they have a shitload of nuclear weapons. Way more than what you need because you only need a few. Because after you drop a few, I mean, pretty much the atmosphere is destroyed and shit like that. Like, you're destroying resources and stuff in the environment. So, only so many can go off or whatever before we're all just going to suffer eventually. But yet, the power that comes with having a government, having that military might, that shit is addicting. So you want more and more of it. The power that comes with government, of course the government is going to spy on you. Why would they not? I don't know what the quote is or something I heard maybe from like a Roman times or one of the Roman emperors, but like it says something like a government's job is to spy on the citizens. Well, yeah, because they feel a government entity is to monitor, protect, and look out for the citizens. And that's basically saying that a citizen or whatever it is either giving up that right or that control, or they're giving up that power because they don't want to have that power. They don't want to have that pressure of making those choices. And then when you give up that ability to make those choices for yourself, then you give up that power, and then you give this to someone else's power. Whew. Think about people that, you know, if you have kids out there, the power you have over your kids. I used to tell my kids, like, I'm the alpha and omega in this bitch. I'm the start and end of every fucking thing in your life. That power, but you use that power to kind of hold over them to a certain extent, because as I told my kids too, as y'all get older and the more responsible I see y'all become and the more mature I see y'all become, I'm gonna loosen up those constraints. I'm gonna relax a little bit on what I do and what I say and stuff, because I don't want to be in control of y'all. I'm just trying to get y'all to a certain level because y'all need it. I'm basically y'all guide in life. I'm your teacher. So I have power, but I don't want this power. It's just temporary. But even that can still be addicting because you walk in a fine line. Because I want them to do certain things but like, what if my kids decide they want to be a fucking porn star? This is weird shit. Like, I think about this shit often. Like, what if my daughter decides she want to be an Instagram model and shit, or show her ass all the time or whatever? And what if my son decides, oh, you know what, I got a big dick, I want to be a fucking porn star? And it makes you think, because, like, you know, I don't raise them to be like that. I wanted to have a different career, do different things in life, whatever. But what if they decide to be like that? Will I then try to inflict my power over them? And when they're like 18, 19, 20, 21, and will I try to inflict my power over them to be like, no, you don't do this, you shouldn't do that? Or do I let it go? And, oh, man, that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of life, because that's a fucking tough situation, right? That's a tough question. Because we can talk about, oh man, I don't want nobody to be that porn star or whatever, but at the same time, you're fucking watching porn, so somebody gotta do the shit. Oh man, and then think about the power. So to stay on top of it, let me keep saying power before I go off on some other shit. So think about power. Think about a director of that porn. Think about a producer of that porn movie. That's apply the same mindset to films and movie stuff. And then you have people that abuse the power, like that. God damn it, what's that dude's name? I forget his name, whatever. That Weinstein, yeah, Harvey Weinstein, or whatever. Think about that shit. He's fucking these women and shit. He's doing all these different things or whatever because he had a power influence. And they're just like, man, if I do this one time, a few times where I don't have to deal with him no more and I get my break and stuff. Can you get mad at someone for doing it? No. I mean, for all these women or whatever, stuff like that. I mean, it's everyone's individual choice. But this man had power and decided to abuse the power. And it probably just happened. It could just happen one time. It could have just been maybe someone offered it to him and then he went and abused that power. Or he could have went ahead and crossed over that line the first time and it's like, oh, if you want this part, do this, this, and that. Wherever the case may be, that power is a drug. And to have that influence over someone else should never happen, man. In every institution, in every corporation, in every government, in every fucking thing, in every existence of life where there's a group of people, power needs to be evenly distributed. You have to find some way, even if it's not evenly distributed, you have to find some way just to basically distribute the power to a point that we all understand. Because the president's power is supposed to be distributed amongst the other government branches of government, but at the same time, a president signs executive order, bam, that's it. Which is technically seems unconstitutional, or probably is unconstitutional, but whatever. Power, man. Power is a crazy fucking thing. But if I was given the power, I would probably shoot and kill a lot of fucking people. At some point in time, I would forget who I was. Or not forget who I was. I will become a different aspect, a different personality of who I am. Remember I said I'm trying to do my best to be as nice as possible. But I also know if I'm given this power and shit, I wouldn't be a nice person. I have no doubt in my mind, I would not be a nice person if I was given. It's like I could see maybe for a couple years if I'm in a position of power or whatever. But all it'll take is one choice where I abuse the power without even unintentionally abusing the power. Maybe I did it for a good reason. I perceived it as a good reason. And it still wouldn't matter because that little taste of power will open up my perspective or change my perspective, and I will find a way to use that power again or abuse that power again, without a doubt, without a fucking doubt. So I try not to cast too much judgment on presidents and when they launch nuclear weapons or not nuclear weapons, when they launch bombs and artillery strikes and all the other stuff, whatever. Because man, no one man should have all that power. Is that what Kanye West song says? Because that's really what it is. Like nobody should have that much power. No one should have that much influence. So as I'm watching the Hunger Games, and then Jennifer Gardner, fuck, I can't remember her name, whatever, her real name, and then now I can't even think of her name in the fucking movie either. But so she's a main character and stuff, but she's the anti-hero because she's a hero, but she doesn't really want to. When I say anti-hero, I mean like she doesn't want to be the hero, not necessarily. I guess I can't find a better term for it, but like, because usually anti-hero is like the Punisher or someone. It's like, he's not a bad person, but he's not a good person, whatever, and stuff like that. But with her, she was a good person, but she just was also not friendly. She also didn't like people at the same time. But the people that she did like and care about, she cared for them deeply and had some loyalty and stuff. And she had compassion and empathy in the movie, the character in the movie. But I think of her as an anti-hero because she didn't want to be a hero. She didn't want to make decisions for everybody. She wasn't doing anything. She just acted. And she acted without knowing the consequences of her actions sometimes. But at the same time, I feel like she understood the consequences. She just also abused the power that she had within the situation. It was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyways. So I feel like I'm similar to that, but at the same time, I also feel like I have enough awareness to know that I should never be in charge of anything of that grand nature. I shouldn't be charged of anything on that scale because at some point in time, I cannot be trusted with that power. And this is for me personally. I know I cannot be trusted out of power, and I have doubts that anyone can be trusted with that power. Because at some point, that power will take my mindset, and I will run with it. Period. You tell me I snap my fingers or I give an order and 100,000 people go to war. That's insane. That's fucking insane. Just, like, think about that shit. A motherfucker says, you know what? Fuck this, we're going to war. And everybody suits up and they go to war. Somebody gives me, when I was in the military, somebody gives me an order. They say, hey, you going here, and that's what you're going to do. And it's like, just to have that power, whether it's direct or indirect, it's an influence that, or it's something that can influence your mindset and your perspective. And it's like, man, I know it has to feel like a drug. And I never came close to having any of that type of level of power. I've been a supervisor and I've been a mid-level manager before, but I never, and then now that I think about it, so when I was in the military, I never wanted to get hired in E5. I don't know if I said it when I was explaining my military career in that episode, but like I never want to get hired in the E5. Cause my thing was when I seen people at higher rank, I saw them just really having power and influence, but they're not really working. They're just going to meetings and stuff all day and stuff. At least for in my perspective, in my career field, when I'm witnessing and stuff in the Air Force, whatever. I'm not gonna say it as a general thing. I'm just only talking about my specific perspective because that's the only thing I can reference was my own what I witnessed myself. So, but I saw that if you're E6 or E7, you're basically just telling people to do all day and stuff, whatever, and you're making decisions that affect people's lives and stuff. And I never wanted that power. I remember I had some people above me and it's like, man, you need to go ahead and study so you can make E6 and you can do this. And I'm just like, no, I'm all right. Because one thing is the money and stuff like that. But for me personally, I never want to be in charge. I never want to be in charge because I always thought like I was just afraid to make decisions or I just didn't want to deal with that pressure or I don't want to say pressure, stress. Because when I am put in situations to make decisions, I have no problem making decisions. I can handle the pressure. And I think that comes from me playing basketball growing up. When I played point guard my whole life. And so I understood, me having the ball in my hands and making the right decisions, making the pass. And I took on that. Maybe I'm a natural born leader or something, or I can handle the pressure and I can make those decisions in crucial moments. But I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that power. Because I don't want to make those choices for other people and stuff. I don't want to make a choice that affects someone else's life and they have no clue about it. And that shit bothers me. And so when I was thinking about making E6 and E7 and all that stuff, I just didn't want it. I never wanted it. And then they changed the rules where you can be an E5 to retire. You had to be E6, whatever. Which I was like, all right, well, by then I had all the medical issues or whatever shit. So I was going to get out anyways. I didn't see myself making it past that. I knew I couldn't pass P test. Certain things where I already talked about before. But they actually changed the rule. I think the same year I was getting out, they changed it back to people who are E5 can still retire or whatever. Because I like where I was at. I like that I had some influence or whatever, but not too much influence, not too much power. And I wasn't too far away where I could still understand the people beneath me and under me. Because at the end of the day, I just want to be, when it came down to it, as far as my military career, I just want to be in a position where I can make a choice that I want to and suffer the consequences. And I can also help make choices for other people and stuff when they needed me to make those choices for them, and I can suffer the consequences. So I can get it from the top and the bottom and stuff, as far as the rank level structure, whatever. But at the same time, like it wasn't too much power and it wasn't too little power, because at the end of the day, I don't want power. I want influence, and it's a thin line because you can have power and influence, or you can have influence and no power. Influence. If I go back to the movie, the Hunger Games stuff. The I think the dude's name was Putluck or something like that. He was like pretty much the leader in propaganda and shit and things like that, and how to persuade the people and stuff. He was always in like the president's ear of District 13. He was always in someone's ear or whatever. Even in President Snow, when he was like being a double agent, then he was always in their ear and stuff. He had power but his power came from influencing, having an influence with the person in power, but he never really handled all those decisions of power. But he just found a way to influence, which is very sneaky and kind of manipulative at the same time. But I am a manipulative person. Like I said, I'm not a nice person. I'm not a nice person. I'm manipulative. I can do certain things, whatever, and I basically manipulate people all around me. Like I said, I can't even be trusted. You can't trust no one. You can't. You can't. You find a way to like. I find a way. I find ways to get certain things done from the people above me, but in a manipulative way that they don't even realize they're being manipulated. And so many times at work, when I was in the Air Force, I'll do certain things, and I knew I'm just counter moves to everything. I'll make a move, and I know they'll make a move, and I'll make another move, and I'm thinking moves ahead of them, and I'm sitting there plotting out what I'm gonna do. Cause I remember some of my friends and people that work as my peers and people that work beneath me, they were like, "Man, you never get in trouble for anything." I was like, I just know what I'm doing and what I'm saying and stuff, and how to say it a certain way or do certain things, and I put myself in a certain position or whatever that I'm just manipulating everybody around me. I was telling one of my friends who worked underneath me and stuff under the shift, and I'm like, look, I manipulate all y'all. Y'all just don't know it. And it's like, huh? I was like, I manipulate all y'all. Y'all just don't know it. It's because y'all so caught up in your emotions that you're not thinking half the time and stuff, and you're always reacting. I'm not reacting to nothing. You might hear me snapping and cuss about something or whatever, but I already planned on this shit. I'm just constantly making different moves or whatever and stuff. So I like being in the position of influence. So I couldn't be a president. Could I be someone high up in government infrastructure where that's has capable or who's capable of having influence or whatever? Yeah, but I couldn't trust myself to be president. Because I would try to be a dictator. Without question, I would try to be a dictator. I know I would. And you can say, oh, you can sit there and listen to me like, no, because you're aware of this. And no. You give me that much power and shit, at some point in time, I'll be like, you know what? Fuck y'all. Everybody's stupid. I need to make all decisions because I've been making decisions. Like that power will only increase my ego more and more. I will have more and more narcissistic tendencies. And I would not be able to trust myself. And this goes along with the same thing with everybody. We shouldn't have everybody in government in these positions of power for so long. Someone needs to, question their position of power. Someone needs to take that away from them and give it to someone else. And you have to keep finding ways to distribute it. Because even if you can't balance it out equally, which is probably damn near impossible, you just need to constantly distribute the power and stuff. Because if someone else gets a position and makes a bad decision, that's okay. And even those bad decisions might cost someone lives, as fucked up as it might sound, that's okay. Because that is life. This is life. And what we really should be trying to do as a human species in modern society is continue to make society better. To make everything better. But we don't. We don't. We don't. And I'll leave that topic for another time because I really believe the human species is a fucked up species. Human beings are fucked up. Like, we are fucked up individuals. Like, it just makes no sense, the shit that we do. We're just a destructive species. We're just fucked up. And a lot of it comes to ego and abuse of power. You could probably find a lot of times within human history, when you're dealing with society, governments, just those are outside of the tribes and stuff. Because basically, society is a step above a tribe. So you talk, think about all those people and stuff, whatever. At some point in time, somebody abused power, or multiple people abuse power, and then you have then everyone's just reacting out for that. Then you get sways of emotional reaction. Hitler is a prime example of abuse of power. He had a mindset, he wanted to do certain things, and then there you go. Get a little motherfucker too much power, and they say no, he's fucking crazy. The people backing him too. Using them and shit like that, giving them influence, giving him power, and they say no, he went crazy. It's power. Cause it's funny because like we watch movies where like we see superheroes with powers and stuff, and they could do certain things and stuff, and we for some reason we're predisposed. I don't know if that's in our genetic, just some basics in our DNA. Maybe we are a slave race created to always be enslaved to always serve something, but we have, or maybe it comes from an animalistic mentality because they have a pack leader that they follow, but we always want to follow somebody. We always try to follow a hero. We always try to follow someone out there. But when you follow someone, you give that person that power. And how many times has that person in power at some point in time let people down? Because that power will corrupt them at some point in time, no matter what, it will always corrupt them. It's inevitable. You can't have that power. Like I said, you give me that power, I'm doing a whole bunch of fucked up shit. I'm changing laws. I'm doing and so at first the laws would be good for people, but it would be good for what I think is majority of people. But once again, it's gonna be different for other people. And then next thing you know, I'm changing another law. And then another law. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't like this shit at all. In fact, I'm doing this. And you're like, and next thing you know, I'm caught up in so much of the power that I start having a balance of logic and emotional decision making skills. I started, make decisions based on emotions. Because I'm so drunk from the power, now I'm no longer thinking clearly like I normally would have. And now I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. He pissed me off. Just blow up the fucking country. Well, that's why you don't let presidents have more than 8 years. And I think 8 years is probably fucking too long. Like, I don't think no one should serve any type of government office no longer than 4 years. And you can say, oh man, but it takes a long time to get those things done and stuff. That's why whatever the case may be, I don't know, but you gotta monitor how long motherfuckers is in office, man. You have some senators, or you have some congressmen that have been a fucking delegate for like 10, 20 years and shit. Like, but what the fuck? Like, how's one person? Me in my own county where I live at and stuff, you got one fucking person who's been the sheriff for a long ass time. Everybody, well, he does a great job, and nobody can run against him, or people try to run against him, and they don't win and stuff. That's okay. But man, should one person have power for that fucking long? Like, why? Why? Because people see, oh, well, this person's doing a great job, so we should just leave him there. Okay. But why? Why not let someone else come in who can do just as good a job or better? Or if someone comes in and does a worse job, then it is what it is. Let that person who was doing a better job come back before. Because this is what it's all about. The growth of humanity. You have to fail in order to grow. And people don't understand that half the time. Like, you have to fail. You need to fail. Failure is good. And I'm not talking about fail in a big way. It could be minuscule. It could just be some type of failure for you. Like I said before, you don't need a huge accomplishment. You just have a minor accomplishment. I was telling my daughter and my son, like, she was talking about baby being a doctor or whatever. I was like, look, you could be a doctor at a huge university or some big institution and stuff, or you could be a doctor and you just help out people in third world countries. The level of accomplishment is not your concern. It's just accomplishing what you want to be. You want to be a doctor, you accomplish your goal of being a doctor. Now, the different levels of whatever that you, because it's all about perception at that point in time. If you want to be a huge doctor, I would say at a huge medical institution and stuff, or a big university, okay, that's fine. But if you want to be a doctor, just, helping out a small city, local, doing something overseas in a different country, whatever, that's the same thing. It's you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish, and then the level of your accomplishment is up to you. So if your goal, I tell my son, if his goal is to be a basketball player, why can't you just play in the G League? Yeah, it might not be, yeah, you want to make the NBA, but if you just your goal is to be a professional basketball player first and foremost, and you accomplish that goal, that's a great accomplishment. That's great. I'll fucking take that. And if he can't do it in America, okay, what if he goes to Spain, goes to Australia, go to Lithuania? Hey, you're still a professional basketball player. People can talk shit about you. Oh, well, you never made it to the NBA. I don't give a fuck. You accomplished your goal. And I went on some shit completely off the topic. I really gotta stay on topic. No, I don't. Who gives a fuck? It's my shit. It's my shit. I'll do what the fuck I want. See? Power. Power. Oh, man. Power's a motherfucker, man. Power's a motherfucker. On that note, I leave that. Oh, fuck. I fucked the whole ending up. I fucked the whole ending up, man. I was supposed to be like, on that note, I leave y'all with that, and then I click out and it goes to music. I fucked all that shit up, man. Whatever.